NCAA trip. The Coyotes trying to get through South Dakota State in this title game for the first time. They have never beaten the Jacks in this championship game. They're trying for their second NCAA tournament trip. And we're underway from Sioux Falls. Amy Bonner, Katie Lukanich, and Jeff Cross, the officiating crew, and South Dakota State controls the opening tip. And what do you expect here early?
Well, I think this is going to be a very physical game. Both teams are going to have to see how the refs are calling it as in terms of how they can play. You're going to see a lot of interior action and a fast-paced game. These teams want to run the ball, Clay.
Well, he tried to get it to Miller right away, but it's off her fingers. And here comes South Dakota for the first time. The Coyotes led by Allison Arns. She is number 10. She is the glue of this Yotes team 3 times. First team all summer. First turnover for the Coyotes. And Miller has her first 2 points.
That's one thing that South Dakota State has been very good at. Their defense has been terrific.
And they've got a balanced offense, too. 4 players averaging in double figures. Led, of course, by Miller's 18 points per game. But the lineup for Aaron Johnston, so balanced. They had 5 players in double figures against Oral Roberts yesterday.
Yeah, and you know what, Clay? Coach Johnston told me before the game that this is the best offensive team he's ever coached in all of his years, and he's been around a long time.
This is his 19th year on the bench at South Dakota State. Arns with the shot clock winding down, and there's that signature Jackrabbits defense again. Miller in the corner for 3. Couldn't get the bounce. Battle for the rebound. It's Chloe Lamb coming up with it for South Dakota, and she's fouled by Tegan Larson, her first. And there is AJ, Aaron Johnston. He is loved in Brookings, South Dakota. He is the dean of Summit League coaches. 27-2 all time in this tournament.
He's been tremendous. I mean, he's a top 9 most winning coach in the country. I mean, he's up there with the likes of Gino Ariema, Kim Mulkey, all the best.
Arns got in a little bit too deep, and that was blocked. Two 2-0 South Dakota State here early. 3rd meeting between these two this year. 88th all time. Good turnaround, and Tylee Irwin, the sophomore for South Dakota State, who Johnston says has been a key here late in the season for the Jacks.
She's been kind of an X factor. You know what you're going to get from the big 2 in Macy and Madison, but Irwin has stepped up big time. Hit some key free throws yesterday with 6 of 6 from the line.
Allison Arns for the Coyotes. And South Dakota has its first field goal. It's a long 3.
Both teams play well on the perimeter and on the interior. It's going to be really key that the pick and roll is defended properly today.
And another turnover for South Dakota State. Allison Arns, a 44% three-point shooter.
Well, she's the defensive player of the year, but how about this for a little bit of offense? She can certainly put him up as well. A lot of great three-point shooters on the floor. That's the way to stretch the defense. Both teams very fundamentally sound, Clay. These guys know how to come off screens and get themselves open.
There's Frederick, the post player for the Coyotes, had it stripped. And now Tylee Irwin is fouled by Frederick. Don Plitzowite has done a great job in Vermillion. This is her 3rd year as head coach. She won a Division II national championship at Grand Valley State, spent some time at Northern Kentucky, and again has really made this a mid-major power in South Dakota.
Back-to-back Summit League Coach of the Year honors. I mean, she's really been terrific. 20+ wins the last 3 seasons. And she's done it the right way. She's brought her style, her motion offense here. She's learned a lot along the way.
I like her motto, too. Enjoy the precious present. And how true that is.
In every way, right?
These women are certainly enjoying the present right now in the title game in the Summit. That draws front iron. South Dakota rebound from Hannah Shervin, the sophomore from Rogers, Minnesota. Transfer from New Mexico, having a great year. Going to work here. This is Kira Duffy. She got it to go, and she's hurt.
Oh, geez. And she's grabbing her ankle. She's a...
And so mark this down, 6:23 of the first quarter. The leading scorer for South Dakota has to go to the bench, and we'll see if this is a turning point.
Yeah, that's certainly can do one of two things. It can cause your team to really rally behind the adversity and then other players step up, or it can really throw you off, losing your best player.
Down deep, Tegan Larson, good work. The Iowa transfer with her first 2 points.
Well, she's a 5 who can run the floor. She can post up, getting the dirty work done.
Back and forth we go. South Dakota State with the 1-point lead. Maddie McKeever comes up empty. Look at that rebound. On the other side of the rim, Shervin couldn't get it to go. There's a foul underneath. Actually, a jump ball that's going to stay on this end with South Dakota. Well, Shervin coming off the bench, making an impact right away for the Coyotes.
She's 6th Woman of the Year and the Transfer of the Year. I mean, she's been an amazing post presence for them.
There she is again with the stick back.
Yeah, she didn't even, I don't know if she gets the credit she even deserves in the league. I mean, she's just that good. And I think rebounding is going to be big today. Those are the little things that you create second chance opportunities for yourselves and for your team.
Larson on that drive, a little bit out of control. And now back the other way comes Allison Arns. Here's Monica Arns, her baby sister.
Another one. Long shots, long rebounds, Clay.
And Shervin again.
The old boards. Straight hustle.
It's her reach that's really impressive. She has a 6'5" wingspan. Those long arms really coming in handy underneath.
But she can move. She's so versatile, too.
3-point lead for South Dakota. Miller for the tie. And that draws front iron. Miller sitting on 2 points, 11 shy of a new record here in the Summit League. 4:40 to go, opening quarter. Shervin thought long and hard about the three, pulled the trigger. Arns with the rebound.
She's feeling it, but this is the 3rd possession where South Dakota has gotten the offensive rebound and scored off of it, possibly.
That's a foul on South Dakota State. Maya Sellen can't believe it. That's the first foul on Sellen.
Fall.
On the sidewalk outside the Denny Sanford Premier Center here in Sioux Falls. That's not a jungle gym. That's a bracket. That's the bracket here for the women's and men's tournaments. The men will play tonight, Omaha and North Dakota State. We've got a great one here for the women's championship in the Summit. South Dakota and South Dakota State. And here come the Jackrabbits, trailing 9-6 to the Coyotes.
What's interesting is these two teams typically score a lot of points, but in the championship, it tends to be more of a defensive-minded game. So I'm curious to see how much scoring we see.
Here's Maddie Giebert, best 3-point shooter in Summit League history, comes up empty. There's a battle underneath, and a foul called on South Dakota State. Remember, Kira Duffy moments ago twisted her ankle, went to the bench. That was at the 6:23 mark. She hasn't come back yet for South Dakota. They're hopeful, though.
Yeah, her numbers say it all. She rebounds, she scores, and she's one of the leading assist makers in the league.
Monica Arns for three. And then more contact, and this time it's against South Dakota. It's Hannah Shervin, who has played really well. 4 points, 4 rebounds, and just over 3 minutes of action. But she just picked up her first.
Yeah, I mean, and 6-0 boards for South Dakota to none from South Dakota State. If this game is physical and it's not called tightly, that is going to favor the Yotes, because they're physical underneath.
Here's Macy Miller in the lane. Can't get it to bounce in. The Bulldog, Madison McKeever, running the point for South Dakota.
Nice isolation.
Shervin, too strong. And Miller clears the rebound for South Dakota State. She wants to run. Now looking for help. Tied up. That's going to be a reach-in foul against USD. It's McKeever's first.
And in order to run, you got to rebound, and that is what the Jackrabbits want.
Well, this is a good sign. Kira Duffy coming back in. A good sign for everybody.
Really good.
This time of year, no one, even if you're a South Dakota State fan, you don't want to see players get hurt.
You don't. And people at this point in the ball game will push themselves to the nth degree to play in a game like this. I played in the conference championships with mono. I got cleared the day before, and I played. I hadn't practiced in 2 weeks. You just find it within you in games like this.
That's what Macy Miller's doing. She knows that this is her last go-around as a Jackrabbit. She's got 4 here early, creeping closer to the all-time Summit League scoring record. Taylor Frederick, the junior post from Erling, Iowa. They find Lamb in the corner, and Chloe Lamb, who's having a solid sophomore season, hits the 3.
She's somebody who can have a big night. She's capable of the 25 points in a game. She had 23 this season against Denver. Got a lot of people that can stretch the floor.
Miller, she answers with a 3. Now just 6 shy from the all-time Summit League record.
How about this crowd?
Working inside quickly, it's Monica Arns. That was a good feed from the point from Sister Allison.
Quick pace right now. Both teams looking to push.
Macy hemmed in on the baseline. Bumped by Frederick. That'll be her second. Well, Monday, March 18th, we're going to have the exclusive live announcement of the 64-team NCAA Women's Championship field. We're going to break down every team, every matchup. 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app, with a bonus hour of coverage at 8 on ESPNU. The NCAA Women's Selection Special presented by Capital One. Baylor won the Big 12 the 9th time in the last 11 years. That was last night. And they're going to be a 1 seed. Many people think that the Lady Bears could win it.
I think this is the year for them to win it. And Kim Mulkey's group is seasoned. And what's interesting is that the Jackrabbits actually played them really tough. Nearly beat them. It just goes to show how good this South Dakota State team is. But it's going to be another good one. I think Baylor is going to win it this year. That's my pick.
Yeah, they nearly upset Baylor, nearly upset Oregon.
You don't want to face a team like this in the tournament.
Really tough schedule this year for Aaron Johnston's team. And they fared well. They went 2-3 against the top 25. Top 25 wins over Drake, the South Dakota Coyotes.
And he makes sure that he does the home and away thing before he agrees to scheduling. And scheduling's a very difficult thing when you're a mid-major. Teams don't want to play you. They don't want to come to your home floor. Forget it.
Under 90 seconds to go first quarter. Loose ball out of bounds, and it's going to go to South Dakota State. 3rd turnover for the Coyotes. So far, Julianne, is this playing out like you expected?
Yeah, absolutely. It's up-tempo, speedy. You're seeing a back-and-forth affair. Today is about the 50-50 balls. It's about who can get the extra possession, the extra rebound. These two teams know each other very well. You're going to have to defend the pick and roll and rebound, too.
Riley Cascio-Jensen is in the game now for South Dakota State. She's number 2. Maya Selland with the running right hand.
That's a terrific move right there. A little up and under. She's been facing some injuries this season. So to see her out there performing, kudos to her.
4th lead change here of the quarter. Arns, bingo.
Oh, she's ready to play, isn't she?
That's her second 3.
South Dakota has patience.
Casio Jensen to Miller with 5 on the shot clock. Draws iron. Chance to take the final shot of the quarter. Monica Arns frees herself. Good look. But it's going to end 17-15 South Dakota after 1. Trip to the big dance on the line in the Summit. Both of these two to get in.
Absolutely. And when we talk about this throughout the nation, and I talk to coaches all over the place, everybody says that this is a 2-bid league this year. These two teams are the best.
There you see Macy Miller closing in on the record all-time for scoring in this league. She's got 9. 13 will put her over the top. There's a turnover again for SDSU.
One too many for them, and they're not rebounding well against South Dakota.
Reverse. Allison Arns having an excellent first half. She's got 8.
Well, she's been tremendous. And she's also known for her defense, but she gets it done on the other end, too.
Inside to Tyler Irwin. Blocked by Shervin. And South Dakota has some momentum right now. They lead it by 4. And they are playing great defense.
And this is just tremendous right here. Nice move by Arns to the basket, using the backboard as a bit of a shield to get that off. That's a move that every guard needs in their repertoire. And right now, the Yotes have all the momentum.
There's the foul over the back, and that's on Irvin. First on Tylee. And I'd say the rebounding has been dominated by South Dakota. The position for the Coyotes in this game has been terrific under the basket.
Yeah, and the Jacks just look out of sorts. Their offense is stagnant right now. They need to make sure they're not sticking with the ball and they're running their motion the way that they run it. And they're not really getting out and running because they're not rebounding. You've got to rebound to run. And they'd rather run.
Yes, they would. And that is the second on Sydney Palmer for South Dakota State. And she's going to head to the bench.
So much this time of year comes down to execution.
Madison McKeever with 9 minutes to go here in the first half. Arns goes inside. This is Duffy on that sore ankle. Doesn't look too shabby.
Not at all. The girl's got game. She's not even limping.
First field goal for Duffy. She's been in double figures in 14 of 16 league games this year. Skip pass picked off. Here comes McKeever.
Again, stagnant offense from the Jackrabbits.
6-point lead for the Coyotes, looking for more. Arns snakes her way inside and draws the contact. And that's the second on Maya Sellen.
Remember, too, Clay, I mean, these two teams faced each other in the final last year. The Yotes had a 20-game winning streak going into the final. They were the top seed, lost in the final to South Dakota State. And that was a game they really wanted. Well, there's a hunger there from the Yotes side that you can really sense right now. This is going to be a lot of momentum shifts, though.
And coach on the right there, Aaron Johnston, is a master of making in-game adjustments. But his team is definitely losing the battle momentum right now as Shervin picks up her second foul. And Don Plitzoy is going to go to the bench and get her out of there.
And a good way to really get your offense flowing is to get to the line, is to manufacture points somehow.
Offensive foul on Tylee Irwin, and now she's got 2.
What tenacity.
Timeout, Aaron Johnston. He wants to set Julianne. They're on a 9-0 run. They've opened up an 8-point lead.
Well, they've been getting stops and they've been scoring. Sounds very simple, but South Dakota State has not been able to get anything going and flowing in rhythm on offense. And give credit to South Dakota's defense. This is the league's leading defense right here, and we're seeing it so far.
Reverse, Monica Arns. She's got 4 here in the first half. Just a role player, but playing big today.
She's getting extended minutes this season because of this. She knows her role. She doesn't try to do too much. She does just enough where she's adding something when she's in the game.
She gave Coach Plitzowite good minutes yesterday, especially at the free throw line. It was 5 for 5. And that's what the Jacks need. Maddie Giebert, her first 3.
Yeah, she's the best shooter in the league, and she's got to get shots off. She needs windows of opportunity.
41% career three-point shooter, and Allison Arns answers back. She'll get a chance for a three-point play.
Man, Allison Arns has come to play. She's your do-it-all guard, their lone senior, and how about that for a little hang time? Stays in the air, gets bumped, and finishes. She's also a terrific free throw shooter, so she can get to the line. That's important.
87% career free throw shooter, best in team history. Three-point play makes it a 10-point game. Nearly another South Dakota State turnover. Giebert trying again from 3. You bet.
Hey, that is the way to get back into a game, isn't it? Threes.
Coyotes go back to Arns. Through the defense. What a move.
This post play is what hurt South Dakota State in their loss to the Yotes. It's been an interior game from them.
15 points here in the first half for Arns. Miller dropping it inside. And drawing the contact is Tegan Larson.
That's a nice post entry pass.
Larson, the Iowa transfer. Last year's Summit League Transfer of the Year. Has really played well in this tournament. She gets the first, another one coming. Well, don't forget, championship week continues. New York Life ACC tournament. Looking at that NC State Clemson game at noon tomorrow on ESPN. Both of those teams on the bubble, and Miami with the win today, 79-71 over Wake.
NC State's had a heck of a year, though.
Now a foul here at half court. It's going to go against Miller. Nope, it's not Jensen. Cascio Jensen picks up her first.
We knew going in this would be a physical game, and you see the double team here and the intensity defensively from the Jacks. And they didn't think they got the foul there, but it didn't look like much contact. It's also not a place you really want to foul someone. That's called outside the neighborhood, we used to call it, because there's really no threat out there.
So they're going to change the foul and give it to Giebert, excuse me. They just made the change at the scorer's table. So that's a first on Madison Giebert, and Chloe Lamb at the line for South Dakota. She got the first, another one coming.
Well, you don't really want to put either team at the line. Two very good free throw shooting squads.
79% as a team are the Coyotes, second best in the country. A couple of years ago, USD led the nation in free throw shooting. Under 6 minutes to go, first half. Lindsey Thunick in the corner. Up top for Madison Giebert. She drives, throws it up. A little off balance. And now Arns on the run. McKeever will try the three.
Now she was leaning that time, scissoring her body. Not really a shot you even really want.
And Giebert's going to go to the line for 3 free throws. That's on Korngable for second.
Because Giebert's able to make a couple of perimeter shots, she's going to have some openings going to the basket because she's a dual threat. That opens the rest of your game. You got to keep the defense honest. She can do a variety of things,
including shoot free throws. 86% career free throw shooter, one of the top free throw shooters in the country. Horngable is going to go out for South Dakota, and Duffy comes back in, limping a little bit on that ankle.
I almost think she shouldn't have come out of the game, and I would have wanted to stay in as a player so that the ankle stays warm. Now you sit her down, she gets cold, goes back in, it's going to be sore. She's limping. She wasn't limping before. I wouldn't have taken her out.
Yeah, it's tightened up, no doubt. This game's tightened back up again.
And this is a zone here.
6-point lead for South Dakota, looking to add to it. Allison Arns driving baseline, well defended by Miller. 3 on the way, doesn't go for Monica Arns.
I like the changeup defensively. Throw a little zone action at them, make them hit from the perimeter.
Miller drives, got it, and one.
Two-time Summit League Player of the Year for a reason. She is such a terrific player. She's a veteran. She's been here. Nice little jump shot. Finish with the bump.
Miller to tie the all-time Summit League scoring record. Got it. Next basket for her. Next point of any kind makes her the all-time scoring queen in this league.
Suddenly you see the momentum shifting again. State changing up their defense too. There's a little more blue in the crowd today, I think, too.
Miller, got it! There it is. The pride of Mitchell, South Dakota, is now the all-time Summit League scoring leader, passing Kevy Looper, the all-time Oral Roberts great.
Incredible. No one more deserving.
Tie game.
And she is one of the most experienced players in the league.
She's come a long way from the Corn Palace.
That's for sure. The girls got game.
What a ball game.
And this change in defense I like. I think it's thrown off the Yotes. They're making them settle for perimeter shots here, Clay.
Like this one. Miller's feeling it.
She's taking all of it on her shoulders, and they take the lead here.
18 points for Miller, that's her average. South Dakota finally able to stop the run as Madison McKeever scores. It was a 12-0 run until that hoop.
And they needed that so badly, and that's wide open.
Boy, where's the defense now? Larson making it look too easy inside.
See, shooting is contagious. When you're making shots, it just passes down the line to your teammates.
6 now for Larson. And Monica Arns is called for the foul.
The Yotes need to make sure they're staying on assignment. They can't lose track of what's been getting them where they've gotten, which is defense. This is bad defense. This is just a miscue, and I don't know what that situation, what Arns was thinking. She was going to double team and leaves her player wide open, and Larson just an easy layup. And that is a hiccup we haven't seen from the Yotes this whole game until that point.
So that's the 15th foul, puts Lindsay Thunick at the line for the 1-and-1.
Not much of a margin for error in a game like this, Clay.
And both coaches will tell you that every time these two get together, you can't beat yourself. It's hard enough to beat the opponent in this rivalry series. Don't beat yourself. They finally break the press. 16-2 South Dakota State run.
It flip-flopped.
Arns, jump shot. Strong. Frederick, the putback, no. And Miller saves it for the Jackrabbits.
Can you withstand runs? And that's the key.
South Dakota now 1 of its last 8 from the field. 2.5 to go, first half. Cascio Jensen, another 3 for South Dakota State.
Listen, you get stops, that's everything. It leads to your offense in those possessions.
McKeever will hoist.
A bad shot. Suddenly the Jackrabbits are in such attack mode here.
Cascio Jensen again.
Again, draw 2 and kick. They're getting whatever they want.
Points in the quarter for South Dakota State. They have absolutely dominated the last handful of minutes. And it seems like the team made up its mind, all right, it's time for Macy Miller to get the record out of the way. And from that point on, it has been all South Dakota State.
And I like the adjustments from Aaron Johnston. He's a terrific coach. He's changed their defense, and then their offense has gotten some rhythm.
From the short corner, Chloe Lamb can't get it. Backside rebound, Miller.
And they're rebounding better. To start this game, they could not rebound.
Madison Giebert heating up 2 here in the quarter. Really helped spur this Jackrabbits run. Shot clock down to 5. Miller. Time winding down, throws it up off the heel, and Shervin with the rebound for the Coyotes.
Shervin was hot early, hasn't really touched the basketball since the shift and change in defense here.
Into the corner for Korngable. Now Shervin, that's what they need more of from her.
They went inside early, and they were able to get her the basketball. And there's nobody that can stop her in the paint. To me, they've got to have her touching it every time.
Yeah, they haven't had an answer for her. You're right. Miller. And Shervin another rebound. And now South Dakota has slowed the pace down a little bit. They've settled things down. And 30 seconds to go here in the first half. They can close in on South Dakota State's lead.
You nailed it.
Shervin got the putback.
Slowing the pace, the extra possession.
And the lead is 7. Shot clock is off for the Jacks. What a first half.
Wow.
And, you know, and we knew this was going to happen.
It's a battle of runs. You're going to have to withstand runs in a game like this, Clay. Losing rights in terms of the history between the two teams going at each other, and you want to try to get the 6th seed over the 7. I mean, it's all about the matchups once you get to the tournament, but that's kudos to the Summit and how this is great for the league, and it's great for women's basketball when you're getting more and more parity. I mean, how many leagues bring out this kind of crowd? This is an incredible crowd here.
South Dakota down 7, starts with the ball, but they quickly turn it over. What was Don Plitzowite telling her Coyotes at halftime?
I think she was telling them to go back to what we did early in the game, what we do well, stick to our style, our motion style, and start with the defense and the rebounding. That's what they were doing. Second and third chance opportunities were leading to points for them early. And then they weren't locking down on the defensive end.
And Coyotes missing an opportunity at the rebound. They work it inside. Maya Selland on the feed for Miller.
And against the zone, too, South Dakota has to be able to break it. I think you're going to see some shifts.
So the Jackrabbits start out in the man-to-man. But they're still forcing turnovers. It really doesn't seem to matter, Julianne. Right now, what defense they're playing. The Coyotes haven't trouble taking care of the basketball.
Yeah, the Jackrabbits have done it on that end. And so often offense comes from your defense. That intensity is leading to their offense.
Frederick will clear the rebound for South Dakota.
And this is an important time. You want to set the tone here and grab a hold of the momentum.
3-ball, Duffy in and out. Frederick right underneath to clean it up.
That is what is happening for the Yotes. They've got to keep doing that. They've got to crash the glass.
Good defense by Frederick. Boy, she did a great job yesterday against Lexi Clable of North Dakota. She played her spot really well that time, and now South Dakota within 7 again. Continuing to try to chip away. Duffy to Allison Arns. Got her own miss. Couple of looks at it, nothing to show for it.
Arns posted up Irwin, who's got more size on her.
Gebert for 3. That's her 3rd triple today.
She is shooting a crazy high clip from 3. You can't give her any breathing room. You've got to be there on the catch with her.
She grew up around a basketball floor. Her mom, Melissa, the coach at Eastview High School, played for her mother. Duffy
on the family.
Inside, Arns has it stripped away, and Selland on the run, a 3-on-2. Selland leans in, and she'll get to the line.
Now, those turnovers are leading to opportunities. I mean, you can't allow so many extra possessions for a team like State. I mean, they are taking advantage of it.
It's her first foul on Kira Duffy.
Now remember, South Dakota, there's a chip on their shoulder in this gameplay. I mean, they're kind of labeled as the stepsister of South Dakota State. South Dakota State has led this league. They've done well. So there's a certain chip on the Yotes' shoulders where they want to get this win and start to prove themselves in that regard. You don't knock the top team off until you knock them off, right?
5th time playing South Dakota State in this title game, and they're 0 for 4. Monica Arns had a good look. Strong off the heel, and Macy Miller grabs the rebound and brings it the other way.
South Dakota needs to stop here, big time.
Gebert drives, flips it up and in. They don't get it. And a timeout, Don Plitzowite. She needs to talk things over with her Coyotes. The lead has South Dakota State has gone on a 37-17 run after falling behind by 10 early in the 2nd quarter in this game. But the Jackrabbits have made adjustments specifically on the defensive end and gave their offense time to catch fire, which it has.
Yeah, you've got to love the way Aaron Johnston's coached this squad. I mean, this is a really well-coached team, veteran team. They've responded on the defensive end. And in games like this, you've got to respond to punches and runs. And that's what we saw from the Jackrabbits and what the Yotes really need right now. And that's the 4th turnover in just a couple of minutes, in 4 minutes or 3 minutes from South Dakota. They just can't take care of the ball right now.
That's off the hands of Irwin, out of bounds, and so South Dakota State will give it back.
But it started on that end. It has absolutely started on the defensive end.
Well, yesterday in the semifinals, South Dakota State held Oral Roberts to 29% shooting. And South Dakota's really cooled off. They're shooting under 37% now.
And a lot of that is because of the risk that Aaron Johnston took by going into the zone, kind of packing it in a little bit and making South Dakota have to make those shots, and they weren't making them. Early on, they were getting anything they wanted in the paint, and so he's protecting the paint, and that's why Dakota State has been able to take this thing over.
Allison Arns at the free throw line. Tegan Larson just committed her 3rd personal foul for South Dakota State. Neither team has missed a free throw yet today. 2 of the best free throw shooting teams in the country. South Dakota State 13 of 13. South Dakota 7 of 7 at the stripe.
That's why you got to be in attack mode. Get to the rim so you can get to that line, right? Get the easy ones.
Well, now that foul will not result in foul shots. It's on Korngable, and that's her third for South Dakota. Second team foul. They work on it a lot in practice, you know that, but they're just naturally gifted free throw shooters on both sides.
Two fundamentally sound programs, and that's why they're going to really be scary to face in the NCAA tournament. Nobody's going to want them as a draw in their bracket.
And nobody wants to face that lady, Macy Miller. The all-time scoring leader in the Summit League continues to add to her total. She's at an even 20 now.
You think about how many games that Madison and Macy have played together. Two seniors, lots of minutes in the league, over 270 games or so in the league that they've played together.
Chloe Lamb gets tied up, and South Dakota State's going to get it back on the possession arrow. You played at a mid-major. You were a star at Marist.
And I had my parents just like Macy did.
Yeah, at the game all the time. And you can speak to these teams and the approach that they take and how hard they're going to be to match up with in the big dance.
You absolutely have to be sound, and so you're going to play against teams that are a little bit more athletic, longer, faster once you get to the big dance. So you've got to do everything else right, and that is what mid-majors have to do and how they get their name for themselves. It's the fundamentals, and these coaches really stress that from day one. My coach at Marist stressed it for years and created a bit of a dynasty for 10 years straight going to the tournament. That's why it's fun to watch these teams.
I'm going to get a foul away from the ball. And it's the third on Sellen. A.J. John. Gotta love Champ Week. And the Summit League Championship tonight on the men's side. It'll be North Dakota State and Omaha. The Bison trying to get to the NCAA tournament for the fourth time. Omaha trying to go for the first time in program history. Alongside Julianne Vianney, I'm Clay Matvick back here at the Summit League women's title game. 56-42, South Dakota State on top. And Macy Miller for the Jackrabbits has become the all-time leading scorer in this league here today. She's got 20 points. 13th 20-point game this year.
Jacking up the points, no pun intended there, Clay. No surprise. I mean, she's just been tremendous, and this game's starting to get away from South Dakota, and they stopped going inside to Shervin. So that's a good time out there. Settle down, run a quick hitter. Both these teams run a lot of motion offense, so you're not seeing a lot of quick hitters. Gotta play off of reads and such. But Shervin has to see some touches. I mean, she's been tremendous.
Maya Sellen's going to go to the bench for South Dakota State. One of the starters now in foul trouble for the Jacks. That's her fourth.
Yeah, I can't imagine she'll come back in this quarter. She'll sit out the rest of the quarter.
9 for Shervin. The lead cut to 12.
An eternity of time left.
Madison Giebert. She's in double figures again here today. Tegan Larson thought about the three, drives, kicks. Palmer, but now a foul called against South Dakota State.
It is an illegal screen.
And that's the fourth on Larson. So now Tegan Larson with 4, and I guess that's the one area you could really poke a hole in the day for South Dakota State. They got into foul trouble a little early, and now it might be catching up with them.
Yeah, it looked like that was actually a charge, but yeah, absolutely. You get physical, and if the referees are calling the action, and we said this earlier before the game, it will favor South Dakota State if the refs are calling it, because they're a more fluid team and skilled team in that regard, and South Dakota wants to outmuscle you.
3 doesn't go for Chloe Lamb. Giebert gets the long rebound. Jack's on the run. Giebert keeps it,
nice.
Throws it up and in. Got it in one.
Full length of the court. South Dakota State get a chance to run. That's what they like to do. You get the rebound and you go. And this is the right call. I mean, the rotation was a little bit late. And Orange, she gets position, but I think she definitely flopped there. I'm more prone to call the block, so that's the right one.
2 on Arns now, Monica Arns. And Monica will sit down. Now Maddie Giebert really playing well. Miller with 20, Giebert with 17. Those were the 2 players that you said had to have a big day today, Julianne, for the Jacks to have success, and they are.
The big 2, and then you've got the role players doing what they do best.
Boy, Shervin can't buy a bucket in there now. Out of bounds to South Dakota State with 3:08 to go in the quarter.
And Kira Duffy going down with that ankle changed the game for South Dakota. She hasn't been herself. She's still, you know, out there and getting minutes, but definitely not herself. She's not even in right now.
Duffy's only played 3 minutes this quarter for South Dakota. Giebert, good ball fake. Now Allison's pass a little bit out of the reach of Shervin, and another Coyotes turnover.
It's not often you find South Dakota a little bit ruffled in terms of, I think they're a little bit ruffled right now, making bad decisions.
Kira Duffy on the bench for South Dakota.
Big loss, their leading scorer.
Good defense by Shervin, another block. But cleaning it up is Tylee Irwin for South Dakota State.
South Dakota State's doing the little things, following shots, getting the O boards.
Kira Duffy's going to link to the scorers table to check back in for the Coyotes. They absolutely need their leader now.
But even so, she hasn't been herself. She's got a bum ankle right now.
Shervin getting 2 more. Man, she's been efficient in the limited time she's really been on the floor.
I'm telling you, every time down the floor, she has to get a touch.
Miller for 3.
Domination. She just does everything.
And it's a South Dakota State personal on Burkhardt.
2 more points here. We got a 20-point game play. Who would have ever expected that?
Yeah, this has gotten out of hand for the Coyotes. Duffy will check back in as soon as she can. They're going to send her back after the free throw. She will come in. 15 minutes, 4 points for Kira Duffy, their leading scorer. She went down with that ankle injury at the midway point of the first quarter.
But we need...
Let's go back to the 6:23 mark of the first quarter. Duffy, after the basket, rolling that left ankle.
It actually hurts looking at that. She rolled it bad. She's been really trying to play on it, but you can really tell that she's not putting all the pressure on it. She's compensating with the other foot and not totally herself.
Yeah, she hasn't scored since that basket.
It's a shame. I mean, it's a huge loss for them to not have her at full strength. I give her a lot of credit. She's trying to gut this thing out.
Miller again. A long 2 for Macy.
She is just in a zone right now.
She's got 25.
This 2-3 zone, speaking of zones, has been everything for them. It has shut down South Dakota.
45 seconds to go in the third.
And you got to move it inside.
Now they're going to call Miller with the push in the corner.
There's too much side-to-side action from South Dakota. They've got to go to the basket. They've got to get into attack mode. Everything is passing around the horn.
So Lamb at the line. Cascio Jensen will come back in for South Dakota State. Duffy's going to sit back down for South Dakota. A 17-point lead for South Dakota State. 10-second difference between the game and the shot clock. Irwin goes around Frederick, passes around that double team, and sneaks it over to Burkhardt.
They're getting whatever they want.
Back to a 19-point lead, matching the biggest of the day for the Jackrabbits. McKeever, well, that's way off. And the third quarter comes to an end. All Jackrabbits in the Summit League Championship.
It's just really been incredible to watch this kind of, well, mantle that this program has held on to. Aaron Johnston in his 19th year has been just incredible in that regard. I asked him before the game about how do they maintain that hunger, and he just really told me it's about the captains and the seniors, and each year getting the right recruits in. He recruits heavily in that Midwestern area. No one has to be motivated, and they don't lump past seasons together, and that was interesting to me. They don't lump them together. However, as a former player, you do hold on to a certain mantle when you're coming from a winning program.
You got to carry the torch.
You carry the torch, and it's just something you do. And you kind of see that today in the way that they're playing.
Giebert with a little shuffle of the feet, but Aaron Johnston has had chances, Julianne, to leave for bigger jobs. He's been offered higher profile gigs, but he loves Brookings. They love him. He has nurtured this program from Division II to where it's at now. It's his baby, and he doesn't want to leave it.
It is, and it's impressive and really awesome to see. And he's trying to grow the women's game, and he's done that here. He's the dean of coaches in this league, that's for sure.
Frederick draws contact underneath. She's going to get to the line.
And since he's had children, I know he's lightened up a little bit in terms of when he was a little bit younger.
More of a taskmaster.
Some of his Jackrabbits people told us that. Exactly. Hey, he's definitely taken on that even-keeled role, and his players also sense the coolness in him in that regard, and they really have that personality too. They don't get too high, they don't get too low.
Well, this is a dangerous team right now. They have won 15 straight. Looks like it's going to be 16 straight, barring a roaring comeback by the Coyotes. Everything clicking right now for South Dakota State. Cascio Jensen's three doesn't go. Lamb with the rebound, and Miller kind of accidentally bumps into it. Second on Miller.
You certainly want to pick now to peak, that's for sure.
Yesterday against Oral Roberts, South Dakota State shot 55%. They are shooting 54% today.
Incredible numbers, and then their defense.
Another stop there. Cascio Jensen. Back on the perimeter for Miller. Well blocked by Shervin.
Yeah,
she played well today.
She's a shot blocker. She alters the game and impacts it in so many ways.
Arns for three. Frederick, another offensive rebound. One of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country. A couple of cracks at it. She'll go back to the line.
Missing is some bunnies, though. Those are shots that need to go in if South Dakota wants to get back into this. Take it in increments. You got to win possessions as much as possible. Still a lot of time to make a run.
Irwin with 3 fouls now. Sports Center, 6 Eastern after PTI with Sage and Keith. Adam Schefter will join the show with today's NFL free agent deals, plus the latest on Conor McGregor's arrest. And on the eve of his pro day, a look at Kyler Murray's unique path to the draft. Sports Center after PTI on ESPN and the ESPN app. $18-point lead for the Jackrabbits, under 8 to go. Summit League Championship and a berth in the big dance automatically on the line. And Tylee Irwin will shoot foul shots, as Shervin just picked up her third. We've said it before, Julianne, it bears repeating. The loser of this game is not out of the NCAA tournament picture.
Right.
In fact, it looks like the Summit League is going to get 2 bids for the first time in its history. With that said, there is something about going further into the postseason on a winning note.
Yes.
And the Jackrabbits could be a very scary team going forward should they go on to win this game. And you know what that's like to be the hot team. You went to the Sweet 16 with Marist one year.
Absolutely. I mean, you want to have that momentum and carry it over into postseason and into the big dance. I mean, that definitely helps to be playing your best basketball right now. But absolutely, both teams are going to get in. Charlie Cream, our bracketologist, he had them both getting in as a 6 and 7 seed. So that is a comfort South Dakota can take if they lose this game. But still, it only helps the case to keep winning, right?
No doubt. Allison Arns, she's a senior. She knows this could be her last time playing in this building. That's her third three, not going quietly.
Listen, you can make a couple threes here, and you're going to cut this thing under 10.
First three since the first quarter for South Dakota. And now Shervin picks up her fourth.
They really can't afford to take Shervin out of the game. And I keep her in and trust her.
Boy, Tegan Larson has really been a big part of this team this year. Johnston talking specifically about Larson and Irwin's development. Rounding out that starting 5 for the Jacks.
He told us that they've really just found a way to help us in whatever way we've needed it. And they've played within themselves.
Lead back to 18 for South Dakota State. Lamb fouled. And that's on Giebert, her third. So these are essentially free points, Julianne, because South Dakota shoots it so well at the line.
And that's why it's important to be in attack mode right now. At this point in the season, these teams know each other so well. You're playing an entire year against the same opponents, and so it really comes down to who's showing up on that night and doing the little things.
South Dakota's had one NCAA tournament trip. That was in 14. As Miller hits again, they just can't cool her off.
And they're letting her catch it from everywhere. Why not go into something denying her, not let her touch the ball? She's killed them.
And that's another foul on South Dakota State.
I would even consider a junk defense against Macy Miller. That's how good she's played today.
Giebert again. That's her fourth now. And now when you say junk defense, what do you specifically?
Like a box and one or a triangle or two, something. Face guard her, double team her when she catches the basketball. Just make somebody else beat you when somebody is as hot as she's been today.
Giebert will sit out with her 4 fouls. She's got 17 points this afternoon.
Granted,
she started to catch fire.
Yeah.
That really turned this game into the Jacks' favor.
That's why it is hard to do anything junk against them, because they do have other players that can step up. But one-on-one defense was a key today.
Under 6. Selin off the window, doesn't get the bounce. And the Coyotes can't afford too many empty possessions now. 3, doesn't go. Shervin, second chance opportunity for the Coyotes. Arns, no. Out of bounds to South Dakota State. Only once in the last 5 years has a 1 seed won this tournament. That was Western Illinois a couple of years ago. South Dakota State, which won the regular season for the first time in 5 years, now about 5.5 minutes away from winning the regular season and the tournament.
Well, talk about a team that plays with a lot of poise, a lot of energy, and boy, can they shoot the ball.
Oh.
I mean, it's fun to watch them.
52% from the field, 53% from 3 today. 5 to shoot. Miller has it stripped. Allison Arns taking it all the way. Waits patiently for the flyby by Irwin. Got it, and she'll go to the line for the bonus.
She's been a huge bright spot for this team today. Allison Arns has been all over the floor. Wherever she's caught it, she's been a threat, and she can do it in a variety of ways. Nice job pushing the tempo. We haven't seen them get a chance to push the tempo. That is the way to do it, and get an easy one and beat the defense. Good hang time.
4th foul on Irwin. 3-point play. And the lead is 14 for South Dakota State. Here's the pressure now from the Coyotes.
This South Dakota team is so young, though. It's amazing to me Arns is the only senior on this team.
And Aaron Johnston wants to call a timeout. Settle his girls down. They lead by 14 with 5 minutes to go. 28th today, and has become the Summit League's all-time scoring leader, passing Kemi Looper of Oral Roberts. And her parents in attendance here today to watch the festivities. You know that they're proud.
Oh, yeah, they are very proud of her. She is a lethal combination. Versatile. At 6 feet, she pops out. She can score in so many ways. I mean, she's just going to be somebody to really watch for in the big dance.
That's up over the backboard. South Dakota will get it back with 4.5 to go. Macy Miller from Mitchell, South Dakota, the cousin of longtime NBA star Mike Miller. There you see Macy's parents. Her other cousin Ryan Miller, assistant coach with the TCU men's team.
Definitely basketball people.
No doubt.
In the family. And it's rolled over into her. And she has shot the ball great today. And one of her quote-unquote weaknesses is her three-point shot. And she has made some tonight, or today, and been tremendous and worked on her game in the offseason and only extended that range.
4 of 7 from 3 today.
Yeah, that's a weakness?
Yeah.
Hey!
Not seeing it. You know, the team really missed her a couple of years ago. She went down with an ACL injury mid-season, and the team had to settle for the WNIT. It's every other time Miller's been on the floor, this team has made a run to the NCAA tournament.
It goes to show what she means to this program and to this team. How good she really is.
Maya Selin cut off on the baseline. Under 4 minutes to go. And South Dakota State comfortable being patient with the shot clock. Miller with 3 to shoot. Gets in close. Got her own miss. And she'll get to the line. And Shervin has fouled out.
And you saw Aaron Johnston over there calling their 10-second play, or whatever you call it. We used to call it 10 seconds. It's that high pick and roll. Let Macy Miller come off the high screen and do her thing.
Hannah Shervin has played so well this year for the Coyotes. And she has played well today. 13 points, 9 rebounds. but she just picked up her 5th, and she is done for the afternoon.
She played great. She did what she needed to do to try to take over, and Kira Duffy getting hurt, she did her job. She did, and it was just not enough.
And I think you hit on it, Julianne. I think that is the one talking point from this game, that, you know, Macy Miller, of course, but then Kira Duffy essentially playing hurt here today from the midway point of the first quarter. Huge uphill battle from that point on for the Coyotes.
You really just hope she's okay and that it's nothing serious for the tournament, so that she's healthy for when selection show starts and all that.
It's going to be an offensive foul on the Jackrabbits with 3:21 to go. Kira Duffy, junior from Rapid City, one of 8 kids. Her older sister Caitlin played at South Dakota. She was so excited to join this program and has played very well. She's great in the classroom too. Academic All-American.
6 of her siblings, 6 of them have played collegiately. I mean, that's pretty incredible.
It is.
When you think about that.
They have missed her today. Shot clock winding down as we go under 3 minutes. Arns got the basket and the foul.
I was going to say a continuation. It looked like that was good.
So the senior will get to the line. Try and make this her 13-point game. Allison Arns, top 10 all-time at South Dakota in points, steals, assists. Battling here today. She's got 25 points. As Larson is done for South Dakota State, she is fouled out.
Well, she had a great game. And Tagan's been a key transfer from Iowa. Came in with Gustafson, who should be player of the year. I mean, to me, Gustafson of Iowa, she deserves it. There's nobody that's had the special kind of career she's had this season.
Coyotes with the basketball, down 13. Clock working against them, 2:40 to go. Arns got it, Monica Arns.
This game is not over.
Steal. Monica Arns and Allison Arns taking this one over. Trying to get it to single digits.
This is that gut check. And the Yotes recognizing that would have been lethal.
It's going to stay with the Coyotes with 2:15 to play.
If they get a bucket here and cut this thing to below 10.
South Dakota won in Vermillion in 2 overtimes. South Dakota State won in Brookings in overtime. And just when you're ready to throw dirt on these Coyotes,
yeah,
here
we're
they are
talking about,
within
hey,
10.
this is over.
With 2:15 to go. Chloe Lamb doesn't get the bounce, and that's a big rebound for Giebert.
A big possession to get a stop, too, if you're Dakota State, South Dakota State.
Steal, Allison Arns, nobody in front of her. Lays it up and off the rim. And it belongs to South Dakota State.
Oh, boy, you know, she wishes she could get that layup back. That was the perfect job getting the steal and the
South Dakota State ball with 1:55 to go. A lot of blue in here, but there's a lot of red too. Both schools about an hour away from Sioux Falls, so well attended here this afternoon. One of the best atmospheres for a women's championship in the country. And now Miller is fouled in the backcourt by Allison Arns.
And a huge rivalry, just 2 hours away from each other. And I was talking to some Yotes people, and back in the earlier days, they would smuggle literal Coyotes into the arena and throw them on the floor.
Yeah.
I heard this story and I was like, are you serious?
Oh, this rivalry runs
like dead
deep.
ones. And it was just pretty funny. It's intensity. That's what we love about sports.
Taking a lot of time down. Macy Miller very patient here. 15 to shoot.
You need
South Dakota needs to foul or do something.
They couldn't have asked for a better play there. They didn't even have to foul.
They get the turnover with 1:26 to go.
South Dakota State has to continue to play aggressive and not play not to lose.
McKeever for three. Put back. Arns, Monica Arns having a great game.
What a big, big play right there.
And the lead is 8 for South Dakota State.
You can't let them drain 30 seconds here.
So what do?
You foul. You gotta foul.
Well, a few seconds went by, and finally Allison Arns gets up there, and they're actually going to call McKeever with that foul.
What's so tough about a situation like this, you get into a free throw match down the stretch with South Dakota State. They're so good at the line, and both teams are. It becomes a difficult uphill battle.
20 of 21 at the line today are the Jackrabbits. Another one coming for Giebert to make it a 10-point game again. Jackrabbits trying to hold on and win their 9th Summit League championship. Chloe Lamb, a 2. No. Miller, the rebound. And they're going to call jump ball.
Called a jump. Looked like she got wrapped around a bit there.
And South Dakota State will have it on the possession arrow.
South Dakota intended to foul there, I think.
He did.
And AJ is kind of laughing because he's like, how did you not call that, maybe? Now, what a job he's done with this program.
They get it into Miller. And if South Dakota is going to foul, they need to do it quickly.
And they don't want to foul her.
They wait till Giebert gets it, but precious seconds tick off. And Giebert, who is a great foul shooter too, will go back to the line for the Jacks. Giebert, an 83% foul shooter.
We got the seniors and Miller and Giebert. They've taken over today for them.
First miss for Madison Giebert. She is 6 of 7 at the line. Fifth matchup between these two in the championship game. South Dakota State trying to go to 5-0 against these Coyotes. Timeout. South Dakota State leading by 11 with 38 seconds to go. Side, they're going to crown a champion. North Dakota State trying to get back to the NCAA tournament for the 4th time. Omaha for the 1st time. That'll be at 9 Eastern time on ESPN2.
It wasn't all chalk for the men's tournament, huh?
No.
Not 2 #1 seeds, or 1 and 2.
South Dakota State got upset. And the Coyotes hit a 3. He just won't die.
Wow.
8-point game.
That was a good timeout and a quick hitter.
And Giebert's going to go back to the line.
And the Coyotes showing a lot of grit here, a lot of hustle, a lot of heart, not rolling over. And what a game from Arns.
Allison Arns, the only senior. What a career she's had at South Dakota. You look at the two seniors there on the free throw lane. Macy Miller and Allison Arns. A lot of great battles between those two women over the last 4 or 5 years. Turnover. And that's about going to salt this one away. Claudia Kunzer is going to check in for South Dakota as Allison Arns comes off the floor to a standing ovation from the Coyotes fans. And we expect that Aaron Johnston might do the same for Macy Miller here any second.
Yeah. Terrific.
There she goes.
Terrific game by her.
The all-time scoring leader in Summit League history.
What a special player she is.
30 points, 11 rebounds today, a pair of assists, and South Dakota State is going to claim the Summit League title again.
And boy, have they earned it. Got the player of the year on their team. They've got a couple of big-time veterans. And then a very complete roster.
What a game. The Jacks are on the summit again. 83-71 the final.